Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Hari Om Tat Sat. 3-9-16. यो वा अहं च गिरीशश्च विभुः स्वयं च स्थिति उद्भव प्रलय हेतव आत्ममूलम् वित्वा त्रिपाद ववृद एक गुरु प्ररोह तस्मै नमो भगवते भुवनद्रुमाय यो वा अहं च गिरीशश्च विभुः स्वयं च स्थिति उद्भव प्रलय हेतव आत्ममूलम् वित्वा त्रिपाद ववृद एक गुरु प्ररोह तस्मै नमो भगवते भुवनद्रुमाय यो वा अहं च गिरीशश्च विभुः स्वयं च स्थिति उद्भव प्रलय हेतव आत्ममूलम् वित्वा त्रिपाद ववृद एक गुरु प्ररोह तस्मै नमो भगवते भुवनद्रुमाय. Synonyms. Yeah, one who, why, certainly. Amcha, also I. Girisha, cha, also Shiva. Vibhu, the Almighty. Swayam, personality as Vishnu. Cha, and Sthiti, maintenance. Udbhava, creation. Pralaya, dissolution. Hetava, the causes. Atma Moolam, self-rooted. Vitva, having penetrated. Tripad, the three trunks. Vavrude, grew. Eka, one without a second. Uru, many. Prarohaha, branches. Tasmai, unto him. Nama, obeisances. Bhagavate, unto the personality of Godhead. Bhuvanadrumaya, onto the tree of the planetary system. Translation by Srivange says, Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada ki jai. Your Lordship is the prime root of the tree of the planetary systems. This tree has grown by first penetrating the material nature in three trunks, as me, Shiva, and you, the Almighty for creation, maintenance, and dissolution. And we three have grown with many branches. Therefore, I offer my obeisances unto you, the tree of the cosmic manifestation. Please repeat. Your Lordship is the prime root of the tree of the planetary systems. This tree has grown by first penetrating the material nature in three trunks, as me, Shiva, and you, the Almighty, for creation, maintenance, and dissolution. And we three have grown with many branches. Therefore, I offer my obeisances unto you, the tree of the cosmic manifestation. The cosmic manifestation is grossly divided into three worlds, the upper, lower, and middle planetary systems. And then it broadens into the cosmos of the 14 planetary systems, with the manifestation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the supreme root. Material nature, which appears to be the cause of the cosmic manifestation, is only the agency or the energy of the Lord. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 9.10. Only under the superintendence of the Supreme Lord does material nature appear to be the cause of all creation, maintenance, and dissolution. The Lord expanded himself into three, Vishnu, Brahma, and Shiva, for maintenance, creation, and destruction, respectively. Of the three principal agents controlling the three modes of material nature, Vishnu is the Almighty, even though he is within the material nature for the purpose of maintenance. He is not controlled by the laws of the material nature. The other two, Brahma and Shiva, although almost almost as greatly as powerful as Vishnu are within the control of the material energy of the Supreme Lord. The conception of many gods controlling the many departments of material nature is ill-conceived by the foolish pantheists. God is one without a second, and He is the primal cause of all causes. As there are many department heads of governmental affairs, so there are many heads of the management of universal affairs. Due to the poor fund of knowledge, the impersonalist does not believe in the personal management of things as they are. But in this verse, it is clearly explained that everything is personal and nothing is impersonal. We have already discussed this point in the introduction, and it is confirmed here in this verse. The tree of the material manifestation is described in the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita as Aswatha the tree, whose root is upward. We have actual experience of such a tree when we see the shadow of a tree on the bank of a reservoir of water. The reflection of the tree on the water appears to hang down from its upward roots. The tree of the creation described here is only a shadow of the reality which is Parabrahman, Vishnu. In the internal potential manifestation of the Vishnu Loka, the actual tree exists, and the tree reflected in the material nature is only a shadow of the actual tree. The impersonalist theory that Brahman is void of all variegatedness is false, because the shadow tree described in Bhagavad Gita cannot exist without being the reflection of the real tree. The real tree is situated in the eternal existence of the spiritual nature, full of transcendental varieties, and Lord Vishnu is the root of the tree also. The root is the same, the Lord, both for the real tree and the false. But the false tree is only the perverted reflection of the real tree. The Lord, being a real tree, is being offered obeisances here, offered obeisances by Brahma on his own behalf and also on behalf of Lord Shiva. Om Jnanatimrandasya Gnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langete Girim Yatkrupatamaham Vande Sri Gurum Devatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhupayeva Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Shri Rupa Goswami Prabhupada ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Thank you all for joining today's class. So here we are seeing Lord Brahma is the chapter title, Lord Brahma's prayers for creative energy. In the previous chapter, there's a connection because when Lord Brahma was born from the lotus navel of the Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, then he was searching, finally he came to see. Then Lord showed him he lifted to show him the lotus feet, Lord Sankarshan. So then by seeing that lotus feet, so then he started offering prayers. In the last verse from the 8th chapter, 33 verse, it says, the Lord Brahma, surcharged with a mode of passion, he began to offer his respectful prayers on the path of creative mentality. Astautad visarga abhomikas tam idyam is worshipping. Avyakta vartamani abhishtata vashitatma. So is offering his prayers. Then we see this chapter is written. That's how this is connected from the last chapter, where Prabhupada also mentions the important point. Even if somebody who's in the material mode of passion to create something in this world, then he must take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead for the necessary things to be created, for the necessary energy. He needs to get the energy in order to create anything, even in this material world. And Lord Brahma is showing that. So without that, there is no possibility. Whether one has, and that too also, if you want very important things to get done, then we must have a much more seriousness, as it is explained in the Canto 2. Kama sarva kamo moksha kam udaradi tivrena bhakti yogyan ijayati purushottam. Especially tivrena, akama, whether one has no desires, or sarva kama, one who is full of desires, or mokshakam, whether he is a karmi, he is a gnani, or is a yogi, then all should take or must take shelter of the Supreme Personality. Akama Sarvakam, Mokshakam Udarati. One who is intelligent, Udarati means intelligence. Udarati Prena Bhakti Yogena. So one must take to the process of Bhakti Yoga. Otherwise, there is no possibility for them to even get liberation or any benefits. So Triprena Bhakti Yoga. That Triprena is, Prabhupada explains as when sun is mixed with other things, when it is covered with the clouds or anything, then it won't have force. But when it is, the sun is unmixed with anything, then automatically that becomes a great force. The Trivrena means our hearing and chanting without offenses and worshipping the Lord's lotus feet. That's why here it is stressed. Lord Brahma is stressing that point in the even on the first verse of this chapter, 9th chapter beginning. Prabhupada is emphasizing one must take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, especially the beauty and opulence of the Supreme Lord. But the problem is everybody in this world is attached to the false beauty and false opulence. So that's where it is causing the greatest attachment and burning into three modes of material nature. Urdham gachanti satvastha, madhye gachanti rajasa, jaganna gunavatti adho gachanti tamasa, as it is explained here. Three divisions of the planetary system, Bhur, Bhuvas, Sovaha. So lower planets, middle planet, and upper planet, and the broadly categorized of 14 planetary system, which is coming as a lotus stem coming from the navel of Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. All the 14 planetary systems are situated in that lotus stem which grow from the navel. So that is consists of all these 14. The topmost is Brahmaloka, lowest is Patal, and then below that there's a Garbhodaka ocean, and below the Patal also there's two hellish planets and Pitas. Both are next to each other, where the Yamaraj is there and Aryama is there. That is all the way at the bottom. And we see that even the gopis of Vrindavan, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is often thinking of, especially in separation from the Srimati Radharani, in that mood, he was chanting these verses from Bandalila, where it is explained, even the gopis are praying to take shelter of the lotus feet, where they are mentioning, Ahuchate Nalinava Padara Vindam Yoge Surair Hridi Vichincham Agada Bodai Samsara Kopa Patitottarana Avalambam Geham Jusam Api Manasi Udiyat Sadana. So especially the third line is important. Samsara Kopa Patitottarana Avalambam. We are somehow or the other engrossed in this samsara, this family life, family affairs, Geham, family affairs, Jusam Api. Then only way to come out of this is this Kopa, ocean of material existence. Patita, only way we can be delivered is Uttarana Avalambam, by taking shelter of what exactly, not the lotus face, not the navel, but actually the lotus feet compared to the Nalina Nava Padara Vindam. So here it is very, very important. So that's why Prabhupada explains, more we keep the deities dressed nicely and decorated, and our heart will be decorated. If we neglect, our heart will be gradually blackened. And due to this neglect, many people have left. This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted. So that's why one must take very seriously to worship the Lord, especially the lotus feet of the Lord. More we develop our attachment to the lotus feet. Otherwise, the neglect is explained as just like if you neglect a small fire, what it will become big fire. So Prabhupada quote Chandik Pandit, one should not neglect fire, nor disease, nor death. Otherwise, it will cause greatest problems. So this same way, so that means one must not neglect the following the rules and regulation. One must avoid at any cost the offenses. One must take the guidance, work under the authority of the superiors, the experts. One must be trained under the proper authority, as for those who are experts in it, whether it's cooking or dressing, whatever service we are going to do. We must be trained. We must learn from others, those who are expert in that field. If we think we are expert, then it is going to create great disturbance. We will not be able to progress. That is the biggest problem. So it is not based on the age. It is not based on how many years we are in this, but it's more internal aspects of it. Whether how much we are advanced in devotion service. So that's what here in this verse specifically teaching us, and Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada is quoting the Bhagavad Gita chapter 15 onwards, Bhagavad Gita giving an indication how to extricate ourselves from the samsara kupa, extricate ourselves from the desires, unwanted desires. And the Lord, and today's Lord Vamanadev's appearance, and then from Bali Maharaj's surrender also, it is clearly explained in this chapter. One must surrender to come out of this tree of material existence. And the same thing, the Mother Devahuti is also mentioning the same thing. Swabrutya samsara taro kutaram. Swabrutya, we are your dependents. Samsara taro, samsara, this greatest ocean of material. Taro, this tree of material existence, because tree has so many roots, deeply rooted. If we want to cut the tree, which is big tree with so many roots, we cannot cut by ourselves. Even if we must take even the strong sword or a strong axe. Even then also we will not be able to cut. We will need to call people, or we need to take somebody's help. And that somebody's help means taking shelter of the spiritual master, advanced devotees, sadhus, and shastra. Shastra is weapon. Shastra and Shishya is coming down in that way. And one must take shelter of the sadhu, shastra, and guru. Without that, there is no possibility to cut this attachment. So that's it is very important. Samsara taro kutaram. One must take that shelter of the Supreme Lord. So then chapter 15 Bhagavad Gita explains how do you take surrender. One must surrender in order to cut this root of material existence. How do you surrender? What kind of person can surrender? To surrender, there are qualities. Bhagavad Gita explains chapter 15. That's the chapter 15 is very, very important actually. We want to extricate ourselves, detached. Nirmana moha jatasanga dosha adhyatma nitya vinivrutta kama dhamder vimukter gacchanta amuda padam apyam tat. Sukadukka sangane gacchanta amuda padam apyam tat. There each and every quality is explained. Where nirmana moha, nirmana means one shouldn't be expecting false prestige. This is a big problem. One by one, all these are big problems. Nirmana moha jitasanga. Nirmana means false prestige, illusion, moha. Jitasanga, those are faulty association. So that's why we should be careful. Only way we will know is when we are every day we are hearing, and every day we are serving and chanting and hearing properly. Then only we know what is favorable, what is not favorable, whom to associate, whom not to associate. That doesn't mean we stop associating. We chant, we say Hare Krishna, thank you, everything nice outside, but internally we know whom to associate, whom to receive instruction from, whom to follow, whom to receive guidance from, whom not to receive guidance from. So this must be only be understood when we seriously chant, seriously pray, seriously take shelter of the spiritual master and Srila Prabhupada, and study Shastra and hear Shastra every day. Then only this can happen. Otherwise, we will definitely take shelter of Sukracharya kind of people. Definitely, without a doubt. And we will be going in all kinds of different directions without having a proper concentration on our chanting, on our hearing. Everything else will become a priority. This will not be priority. So that is the biggest problem. Among devotees also, in the Vaishnava society also, we can see that. We want to hear from so many others, yes, about Srimad Radharani, about Lord Krishna. Yes, so many speakers will give exalted things or highest things. But is that the bona fide thing? Is that what Prabhupada gave? That we must understand. We will get that Viveka Buddhi only when we study Prabhupada's book seriously, when we hear from the authorized sources seriously. Otherwise, there is no possibility. We will be attracted with all kinds of things to hear from, read from hundreds of books. And so this is the biggest problem. This is false prestige, nirmana moha. Even Bali Maharaj was thinking of that. He had the false prestige before, but as soon as he saw that Vamandev walking in, then immediately within his mind he offered obeisances. That's what caused a great advancement in his this whole procedure of surrender. Then later on also, he thought, oh, the defamation is the greatest problem. So because he was thinking, I already offered 3 pieces of land, the Lord covered 2 pieces. Now, where I'm going to give this? This is defamation is the biggest problem. Then, Lord has indicated, Prabhupada explains in the purport, false prestige came in. Then, Lord has indicated, Bali Maharaj, you can offer your head to come out of this defamation. So that means, unless we come out of this false prestige, that sincerely we want to surrender, sincerely without any false prestige that I'm senior or I'm this or I'm that, or I already know all these things, I don't need to hear, or some other things are priorities. Then that is the false prestige. That means we don't know the actually what Srila Prabhupada wanted us. So that's why it is very important. Nirmana moha, illusion. So illusion from covered with all other things. That's why the example of the tree, chapter 15 explains all these things very clearly. So that's why these gopis of Vrindavan are clearly saying that don't neglect this. Neglect tivrena bhakti yogena and samsara kopa patitottarana avalambam. One must take shelter of the Supreme Lord. So where now coming back to that examples where it has been given that nirmana moha jita sangha dosha, faulty association, we should understand whom to associate, whom not to associate. This is adhyatma nitya, one must surrender to the transcendence, advitiya, one without a second, with the Supreme Lord, Supreme Abdur. Jita sangha adhyatma nitya, vinivritta kama, means one must give up lust. Yeah, Prabhupada also says, when will Tivrena will happen? When we give up this offense, when we give up the contamination, any kind of intoxication, if we don't minimize it, there is no way to get Tivra in Bhakti Yoga. That means we must constantly observe this and see where things are going on in our life, and then we must switch off those unwanted intoxications. It can be anything. And that's why in this chapter 15, it's explaining Sotram, Chakshu, Granam, all these, each and every sense object, senses and sense objects are compared with the twigs and the tips of the branches. Twigs are the sense objects, these are senses and sense objects, because each eye is all these 5 jnanendriyas, especially jnanendriyas is the biggest problem. Each of these are trying to get attracted with the illusory things. So even as prasadam, we must be controlled. You can see Prabhupada, how much he controlled. He didn't eat for almost a year or 2 years, but he has full energy. He was speaking, always instructing. He was not disgusted. He was not morose. He is completely in highest ecstasy. He is always thinking. So that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also instructing. In the 12.13.2, Prabhupada writes in the purport, if you want to come out of the illusory, if you want to be spiritually progress or advance, there Prabhupada says one must take shelter of the follow Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and especially preach the message of the Supreme Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then by that message automatically, we give up all our simple activities, engage constantly in Sankirtan. This my Lord Brahma still fears influence of Lord's illusory potency, but by my order, just become the teacher of the Lord Krishna's message. Then automatically, I assure you that waves of Maya will never stop you or progress. If you give up all simple activities and engage constantly in Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya, victory is assured in our personal lives and also in our missionary affairs. So that's why it is very important to follow. So this tree of this material existence is explained in this chapter 15 in the beginning verses itself, before the Nirmana Moha, second and third, first, second, third. So where the reflection is explained as where the tree, when we are standing on the bank of the river, we can see the reflection of the tree in the water. When it is not, when the river is not moving, or there is no, what you call, no weather problems, then you can see. Otherwise, if it is too much disturbance, whether hurricane or whatever, wind, then the water is always constantly moving, then we will not be able to see. So, but otherwise, in general, we will be able to see that reflection of the actual thing, that this material world is called the reflection of the spiritual world. So, but the reflection cannot exist without the original thing, as Prabhupada explains. That means, so as Mayavadis or others say that this material world is creation of coming from just from the desire of the living entities, or just because of chemicals, just kama haitukam. So just to enjoy this material, there is nothing beyond this. Or they think that Brahman effulgence is the highest. But that is only 180 degrees. If the tree, as it is explained, the roots of the tree is in the upward in the spiritual world, and everything is, and the reflection is in the material world, then if there is no original tree, then what you will see in the river, there is no reflection. So that's what Prabhupada explained, that so desires, tree is the reflection of water, same way. So our desires are situated on our spiritual advancement is situated in what kind of desires. So the desires must be thoroughly think through what kind of desires we have and how to come out of those unwanted desires. That is the first and foremost point in this chapter. Then further, the next one is explained in the twigs, sense objects, and the tips of the branches are senses. So how the senses and sense objects, how they are attached, the ears, the eyes. So what is priority, what is not priority? Because of this sense and sense object attachment only. It is distracting us into so many different books, TV and food and whatnot, so many things. So especially these next few days are very important days. Ekadasi, Vamana Dwadasi, all these are very important to concentrate on. Namachar Haridas Thakur's appearance day, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's appearance, Bhadra Purnima. So very, very important days to study more and hear more from the exalted souls. Then further is explained tips of the branches or senses, and then the tree is nourished by water. Yes, we are nourished by the three modes of material nature. That's why we are being conditioned. We are dragged down into this material whirlpool constantly. We are being nourished by the three modes of material nature: mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance, especially in passion and ignorance, lesser in goodness. So that's why we're not able to wake up in the morning. We have so many priorities, no planning, and we have all kinds of other things going on. No planning for service. So then where we can progress? How we can progress? So that we have to balance. That we have to see how to balance that. So next, further it is explained the subsidiary roots. Subsidiary roots are giving attachments and aversions, piety and impiety. So that's what we have to understand. The ordinary piety and impiety is not going to help us. That will just still stay in this material world. So we need to perform bhakti unmukha sukruti. So especially performing devotional service, especially on these very, very important days like Bhadra Purnima, Radhastami, all these festivals, one must take seriously. Prabhupada explains that, and Nectar Devotion explains, so much mercy is there. We don't grab it, then it's gone. You have to wait till next year. The Damodar month is also coming. So much mercy is there. If you don't plan ahead what you are going to do in Bhadra, on Bhadra Purnima day, on the Damodar month, then we'll do something else. Priority is not there. So that's why it is planning is very, very important. So that's why it is explained here that these attachments and aversions, subsidiary roots, are causing uh, uh, great disturbance, where it is becoming deep rooted, more and more deep rooted in our material life. It is not allowing us to do proper sadhana, proper association, so many other things. That's when we become busy with our even work life, community, other things, all other things, sports, whatnot. You can give n number of lists. As devotees also, you don't think that devotees, we are barefoot of that. No, as devotees also, you can clearly see this. So because this is coming, Lord Krishna is seeing what is our priority, what is our requirement. Accordingly, Lord is arranging. All right, you be busy with that. You don't need me. You don't need to take my shelter, not my spiritual master, my representative. So that's what is causing us not to surrender, because we are in faulty association. Jitasanga adhyatmik nivritta kama. The intoxication is not gone either. So then only we can surrender. Otherwise, there is no possibility of surrender. And these false aromas are also causing a disturbance. Just like that example is also Krishna is giving. Vayu gandhani vasya. That's air carrying aroma. We are attracted with these false aromas. So that's each and every verse in this chapter is very, very important. It will be like vimuda na anupasyanti jnana chakshusa. So we will not have the proper eyes to see what is happening in our life. So that's why we must take shelter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the association of devotees. Without a miss, we must read. Other than hearing, we must read every day, one verse or two verses. We must plan. We should give time for chanting. We should give time for reading every day, no matter. As Prabhupada is teaching by his own example, despite he was so busy with so many things, management and writing, translation, so many things he had to do, but still he was reading himself. He was chanting more than 60, because that's what Bhaktivinoda Thakur is. So Acharyas are showing by his own example. So Bali Maharaj is showing by his own example that he is fully surrendered, even though he was initially attracted, he was trying to be bring into the false idea by Sukracharya. So there will be devotees, there will be people who will bring us to wrong path, wrong ideas, wrong thoughts, wrong notions. So we'll be attracted by criticism, will be brought down by criticism, brought down by so many things. So don't even involve. That is not our priority. If you want to attain Krishna shelter, then why that is a priority? If somebody says something, what does it matter? So we just need to concentrate on where we are going, how much progress we have made, where can I go, how can I improve my service. Each and every service we have to think. Before entering the temple itself, we have to offer that prayers. We have to seek, but ask for the mercy. So depending on what type of service, we must seek shelter of that personalities. In Chaitram Leela, so many personalities are expert in different services. You must pray to them, ask for their mercy. Then by their mercy, the intelligence, proper intelligence is given for dressing, for cooking, for cleaning, everything. We think we are experts, but we are not actually. So that is what we have to think. Then we can surrender. Otherwise, there is no possibility of surrender. So that's what this verse is telling. Lord Brahma himself is realizing and praying to that actual real root of the tree. Yathatharorumo nisechena skanda bhujopasara pranobharam vitindriyanam sarvahanam attujeja. He could realize, and he's teaching us, all of us, don't be attracted by this false notion, false reflection of this tree, or the tree, the twigs, or the tips of the sense objects, or this false aromas. So come to that reality, come out of your slumber. So that's what is the instruction from this verse. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna. Chandra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Prabhupada ki jai. Sorry, I went over 3 minutes.
Thank you very much, Krishna Babu. Enlivening us with a wonderful class, Krishna Katha. So, on the brink of a weekend, today being an auspicious day, appearance of Lord Vamandev, also the appearance of our Maharaj.
Yeah.
There'll be a program in the evening at the temple, invited by the disciples of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj, community hall. So is that it? Okay, tomorrow.
So no Gita class in the evening, right?
No, we won't have the class in the evening.
Thank you. Haribol, Hare Krishna.
There'll be glorification of Bhakti Charu Maharaj in the temple during that time. Okay. Tomorrow is appearance of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, fasting till noon. And then Sunday is the disappearance day of Haridas Thakur. Also Ananta Chaturdasi, very auspicious day to worship Lord Vishnu. Also, I had sent out Haribol. Somebody can mute Also, I had sent out there's that 192 round program from Farmington Hills. If anybody would like to participate, you can log in. Okay, and also our speaker on Sunday is Adi Gadadhar Prabhu, speaking from 9 to 10 on our Zoom channel. And in the evening, we will be celebrating Bhadra Purnima on Sunday evening as part of our Sunday feast program. And then Monday, which is actual Bhadra Purnima, we'll also have a class in the evening by His Grace, Gauranga Darshan Prabhu. Govindas is on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So you can avail the facilities. Okay, we'll offer our prayers to the Supreme Lord, the chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Ram
Rama,
Rama, Hare
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 Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Rama,
Ram Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Hare,
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare.
Ram Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Nrsimha, Jai
Narasimha, Jai
Nrsimha,
Narasimha, Jai
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 Nrsimha,
Narasimha,
Praladesha,
Praladesha, Jai
Jai
Padma Mukha
Praladesha Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Pranga
Ugram
Vishnu Jvalantam Sarvatom
Samam Buddham Bardam Buddhimutsu Namamyam.
Sudadev Bhagwan ki
Jai,
Jai,
Maharaj.
Maharaj ki Jai.
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 Let us our humble obeisances to the lotus feet of all the assembled Vaishnavas. Vancha
Kalpa Sindhu Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo